Hello mares, this is Blocks, and today we're digging further into the mystery of the mysterious communication tower. We're going to look at how much it might cost if it is included in the game at some point, either over the Christmas and New Year holidays, or maybe in the future, because we still don't know exactly where this building has come from, or what it's doing in Daniel's city. We do know that it appears, or was going to appear, in the Mountain Specialization menu, because we see that during the tips and tricks video on the EA Mobile Games channel. So it's almost certainly a player-built structure, and not a limited time building or gift for the festive season. We don't know what it's going to cost or what it might do though, but I think we can try and work those things out, or at least give a good approximation, a pretty good estimate, with the information we've already got in game. So as you'll know if you watched my last video on the missing communication tower, it should live here, right between the ski resort and the observatory at this point in the menu. And if we look carefully at the costs, boosts and other information of the buildings around where the communication tower should be in the menu, I think we can make an educated guess at what the statistics might be. To show this theory, I've put all the information about the Mountain Specialization buildings into a spreadsheet, and I'll make that public and pop a link in the video description if you want to check it out afterwards. But before we look at that, I want to take a quick look at one other similar menu example we have in the game right now, and that's the beach. It's the only other specialization where buildings must be placed in a particular area along the beach boardwalk, so that's why we're looking at it. And I think it's going to give us the closest information in terms of spotting patterns in the costs and statistics of Mountain Specialization buildings. I've listed the beach boardwalk buildings from top to bottom in this table as they appear in the menu in game from left to right. So the surfer beach at the top here appears on the far left in game, and the luxury boat marina at the bottom appears on the far right hand side in game. Let's take a look at the information in the table in a bit more detail. So you might have already noticed there's a bit of a pattern here. There are some loose, almost groups of buildings, I'd call them, in this table, and I think that each of these groups shows a progression in general from smaller values to larger ones in area, boost percentage, epic points, etc. In the top group here in yellow, the surfer beach goes from a 3x12 area through 4x12 up to 7x12, and the cost increases from 20,000 simoleons into golden keys, 5, 10 and then 16. And in the other groups we see a similar pattern, a general rise in the area, boost percentage and cost as we move from left to right in the menu, or top to bottom in the table here, and also as we move within each group. Let's turn our attention to the Mountain Specialization table while I highlight the groups I've identified. First up, we need to ignore the city sign here. It clearly doesn't belong at the top in a group on its own. If anything, it should probably be at the bottom of the table, as its statistics don't fit in this top yellow group. So let's look at the yellow, green and blue groups. Again, we see a general progression and a pattern of increasing numbers across the groups and within each group. The communication tower sits neatly here in between the green and blue groups. Could it belong to the green group? It would be something like this: a 9x30 area with a 50 to 55% boost and probably 3 epic points. And if it was to be bought with golden keys, it would need to be 30 to 35 or more to be consistent with the pattern. But I can't see it costing that much or having numbers that high, because I don't think the physical size of the building in-game would be anywhere near close to meeting players' expectations or being consistent with the designers' and developers' thought processes. It's too small for numbers that big. It's not the Mountain Palace, or the castle, or something like Sailorman's Pier, or the luxury boat marina in the beach boardwalk. So could it belong to the blue group? It would need something like a 4x20 area, a 30 to 35% boost, probably 1 to 2 epic points, and if it was golden keys, a cost of something like 5 to 10, which would definitely bring it in closer to similar value buildings like the Half Pipe or the Hikers Cottages, or buildings in the Beach Boardwalk menu. And these look like much more reasonable figures, and definitely in line with the other examples we have. So given the existence of patterns, and the fact we know the developers must have made a choice about the costs and benefits of the communication tower and all the other buildings, I'm almost certain it belongs to this lower, loose group of buildings I've identified, because it's much more consistent with the mounting evidence of the developers' thought processes. And we have a bunch of figures now to back up this idea, and we know that someone somewhere, or more likely a team of people, is deciding on how much this stuff all costs. I think it's going to be something like a 4x20, 5x20 area, a 30 to 35% boost, probably 1 to 2 epic points, but perhaps most importantly, I don't think it's going to cost golden keys or SimCash. I think it's going to cost simoleons. I can't see how there could be any SimCash price for the communication tower that would be seen as fair and reasonable, either by the developers or players. And I also think we're seeing an emerging pattern within Mountain Resort, which is similar to the first group of buildings over in the Beach Boardwalk table. These newer groups in the Mountain Resort all start with a simoleons cost, and then move into golden keys. And I think we'll see a simoleons cost of somewhere in the region of 40 to 50,000 to be consistent with the other groups. So if we do see the communication tower in-game, either over Christmas or New Year, then I guess we'll find out if I was right. What do you think it might cost, Mares? Have you got any ideas or seen any patterns I've missed? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.